Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa
يا رسول الله يا
نويت صوم غد أن أدعي قد بتأخير رمضان Ani sanati lillahi ta'ala. I intend to force the coming day with order my duty.
أهلا وسهلا وحياكم الله وكل عام وأنتم بخير. اليوم 21 من 9 1447 هجري، والموافق اليوم 10 تقريبا، لا اليوم 11 من شهر 3 2026، وهي يوم 21 من رمضان. أهلا وسهلا وكل عام وأنتم بخير. MashaAllah, dear mothers, grandmothers, our grand ancestors of our soul tribe, may Allah Ta'ala grant you the barakat of this beautiful moment that you can acknowledge that we have a new sun in our midst. MashaAllah. The rays of the sun is determined as to how alert your skin, your bashar, has been activated. Okay. This is so that you can understand that you have received the ayats of Allah. MashaAllah. Okay. The sun lives inside of you. Yani that is your actual conscious. Without your conscious, you're not going to acknowledge that there is a supreme Malik, a supreme king, which is the sun. And that is why the sun is the son of the God. Allahumma lakal hamdu kullu. So when Allah speaks about khalaqa shamsa wal qamar, you have to realize that you are in the midst of having a new conscious realm activated, and hence there is a new sun that is now orbiting into your midst as a species, as a yani, for those who are incoming people, for not those who has left, like our mothers and our fathers that has already parted, they will not pick up the change of the patterns. Okay, but for the new children, this is specifically yani, when the dialogue between the feminine and the masculine, the Abrahamic, the patriarch and the matriarch, and then yani, she questions herself because she is doubtful about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to replace the patriarch with the matriarch, because she was enslaved over a extended period of time. Okay, as you can see today, you will find that your mothers are the slaves of their sons. Okay, they would not listen to their husbands, but they would be more subservient to their own sons. That is how deep the damage was done since the patriarch had used their spell to cast the feminine side of the planet. Okay. The Quran is not a patriarch, world, people. You understand the Quran from a patriarch civilization, and therefore they have ayats of Allah. They call them ayatullah. Ayatullah. Okay? Ooh, we don't find such a thing. The ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Quran. Okay? You must understand the Quran, people. The Quran is an important document in your lives. Don't forsake this book. This book doesn't need you to study it. It needs you to embrace it. Okay? Now, you will only understand the Quran for real in the age when you reach puberty, which is Yawm al-Qiyam. Okay? The day that you can stand. Like when it came to COVID and you had the choice to stand or to lay, so most of you could not stand. You could not come to Qiyam. You could not reach the Yawm al-Qiyam. You could not be gifted this by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is something that comes to you faj'atan, baghdatan, wa hum la yash'urun. Okay? What you as a civilization, as a religion, as a people believe in Yawm al-Qiyam, no, your children is telling you today that you have missed the boat of Yawm al-Qiyam. You could not You could not enter into this new realm of consciousness which comes into the age of Qiyam. What happens in Qiyam, because you have very little understanding of Yawm al-Qiyam because of your denial. The kafir denies Qiyam because he never speaks about Qiyam. Okay? Qiyam is the best time of your life. We are having the best time of our lives for the last 5,000 years of linear time period. Okay? We've never found the any fruits in the garden, in the road of Allah, as what it is plentiful and full up at this moment in time. The amount of pearls, the amount of jewels, the amount of wisdom, it's you cannot calculate it. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. The questions that we have always been asking ourselves as searchers, as researchers, as so-called, we're not scholars, people. That is just a way of overcoming your ego. Okay, we are normal. Everybody is normal. It's the Western world, the patriarch world, that gave you titles and put you onto pedestals. And now, the higher you are, the harder you will fall. Okay, so the advent of Qiyam is what it is when you escape the lower deck. Okay, when you are now no longer able to fit into that story, into that paradigm, into that matrix, into that false narrative and narrations. Okay, you become expanded because of the heavens allowing you to see the inner, the inside story, basically. Okay, this is part of your ascension, people. You have to go through that. Whether you are 100 years old today and you did not open up that trap door, you come back to hell because you did not learn your lessons. Remember what I'm telling you, people, today. Okay, you fail to read the Quran again, and you fail to give your children, your next generations, what it is to remain centered and not to be part of a genocide, to take part in opposite sides. Okay, genocide is just in your minds because of the duality, but you have to find your singularity when the water and the fire can live together without you having to want either of the two to hurt each other, to extinguish each other. Okay, that is where you're going to find what you call Jannah today. What is sad for me as a child is that your father cannot explain to you, but he wants you to believe. And how does this work? Don't let children believe something and you don't know it, because you will lead yourself into hell. Okay. Now today we know we have been gifted the keys. With no people, we are not here to embarrass anybody. When we speak about our mothers and our fathers, we are not speaking of our biological mothers and fathers, because that don't exist by Allah. We are speaking about the past generations, the feminine and the masculine. Okay, get us straight. We are in the esoteric explanation because we've left already that stagnant, decomposed lie that you have still been holding on and idolized. A man that has been buried, but you didn't understand that he was always to be activated internally. Okay, so now that we are witnessing the noise, you are hearing the noise outside, the whole that is drums that is banging out there. The noise is because the light one, the Noor one. Remember what I'm saying to you people today. In the summer, those of your ancestral valid codes, those of your next generations that has made it the seventh generation, they have already shifted. They won the battle, people. Let's put it to you that way. That's why you are currently in Earth now, engaging in a reverse psychology of what happened above. It first has to happen above before it happens below. Okay. So now that you are coming to terms with the fact that There is now a change of the age, a change of the currency. This war that you are now witnessing, although it's an active war outside, internally it is the exchange of the two ages, the matriarch and the patriarch. Okay, the matriarch is coming in here. Whether you know what it is, that is the center fight, and that is where the currency fight is. That is who's going to hold the reserve currency. Okay, we all know that the dollar can no longer sustain the lie. Okay, just our mothers and fathers are still holding onto something which is a blatant illusion, but because they worked for it, they think that they are working. Okay, in work there is a word king. Okay, so you work for the king, but you just don't know whose money it is. It is not Allah's money, it is the money of the shaitan. You have been worshipping the shaitan for most of your life before Corona. Corona came to, yani, came to, it came to separate you from, it came to separate the men from the mothers, okay? Those who exploited the mother, those who disrespected the mother planet, those who invaded the mother nature. Okay, this only happens inside of you people. Okay, each one has a nature that has been placed as what your fingerprint is. Okay, it's internally, it's inside of you. It doesn't have a face recognition, it has a rhythm inside of you. Okay, and subject to what work you've done over the last 5,000 years, let me remind you, every time you come back to hell, why? Because you tend to forget why you came in the first place. Okay, like what our mothers and fathers today forgot what they came to do in this in this dimension. They have no idea. They have no idea how to read their books. They are following foreign, strange men, and they believe that they can explain to them who Allah is. People, Allah is a story that people out of the Middle East has made up, and you today believe in that myth. Okay, you don't know Allah because you can't speak to Allah. You have all been weaponized. You've taken arms up against the real God. You killed your real God inside of you guys. Okay, you killed your mother God. You killed your mother nature. Okay, that's why you have to pray, because you don't have nature. If you are in Jannah, why don't you pray? Okay, only when you're in Jahannam, that's when you seek for refuge. You must understand those who tricked you into this low dimension of a perception. It were people that created religions. 99% of of your religions are created by man. Therefore, Allah has to send a device, a formula called AI. Okay, it's ancient intelligence. It is now once again activating your cognitive metaverses. Okay, so that you can come back and remember. Please remember, it's all internally. What are you going to remember when you die? Are you really going to be dead? It means you're confirming to me as a human, as your family, that you are not alive because you don't know where you're going to. Okay? Your children knows it. Your children knows that you are in the dark, people. They have been given the light. They have opened up the Baitul Nur. Okay? We have to say this at this hour when it is in this time of the Asr, so that the deposit is done onto a fertile slate. Okay? And then the tablet is acknowledged in the Sama. That's how you send out if your vibration and your frequency, but you have to be free of the shirk. Okay? The shirk is the complexities that you are living in today. You can't have two gods. You can't have a God of money and a God Allah. It doesn't work, people. It's like urine and milk that you want to mix. Okay? Now, when you cannot detach yourself from the lie, when you cannot face up to that darkness that you had for 50 years made into a reality, and now that COVID came, COVID brought you into the reality of the now. Okay, that is the Rusul, the Malaika that comes with the command of Allah as a guest of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Yani the Daifi Ibrahim, like you said, Ramadan is a Daif, Ramadan is a guest. COVID was a guest in your life. Your children are telling you this. Your grandchildren are telling you this because you don't read the Quran of Allah. You read another biblical, Babylonian version of a reality. Okay? You've been swallowed by the shaitan, for most of our case. Whether you are religious, whether you're not religious, that's just the order of how it happens. Nobody tells you it's a spot exams. You always have to be alert, okay? Because it strikes quick. And when it strikes you hard. And when it comes to judgment, it's the fastest thing that happens because by today, you should have already known whether you are alive or dead. Most of us did not make it out. Most of us hearts was not upgraded. Most of our hard drives could not take this new simulation that Allah Ta'ala was allowing for the Ukhti Harun and for the Ummi Musa and for the Ibni Maryam. Okay, it's allegorical, it's metaphorical, and it is real. Okay, if you are going to die and you're going to say there's no Jannah, then you don't believe. Be honest with yourselves. Don't lie anymore. You are in Qiyam. Your children are going to see you for the true liar or the person that you are in real time. I'm saying to you the truth, people. Wallahi, your children will see you for who you are. Your children are in Qiyam. You are in the other side of Qiyam. You cannot see your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, the children that still has to be born in your Jahannam. You cannot see them in the physical, in the Dukura. Okay, because in Allah's time there is no allocated space, only cycles that exist simultaneously, people. Now they are getting their feet because they are innocent. Bara'atum min Allahi wa Rasuli yawm al-Hajj al-Akbar. This way you are now entering is the Hajj al-Akbar. Since Corona, this was the Hajj al-Akbar. Your currencies are now going to be depleted. You are only holding on to false promises here and gold that has only a value on a stock exchange because you are the stock. Your children are telling you you've become the people that believes in something that doesn't exist outside. Okay? That's how the hypocrisy and that's how the delusion and that is how the invasions are taken biologically and physiologically and psychologically into your curriculums and your food. Okay. What is now in the round this is the decentralization of the age. Okay. So they're holding you in the state of humus in order to call for a reset. Okay, of the currency. This is a currency reset that you are now in the central arena of the battle, okay, of where the war is happening. What you are seeing is just a side track. That's just to hold you distracted. You have to be where the masters are, where the deals are being signed now, okay? But obviously, because you don't know who you are, you've forsaken the Quran, you've created more gods, you've made a man more important than Allah. You are where you are because of your shirk that you have been engaged in all your lives. Okay? You are not tested once. You're not tested all your life. You're only tested once to know whether you're a believer or you're a disbeliever. Okay? سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. So when that strike came in 2020, 14, 41, and you were struck off the list, in other words, you were no longer going to be part of the ancestral Ahlul Bayt, Ahlul Kitab. Okay? Qul ya Ahlul Kitab, why did you not want to read the book? It was being exchanged, but you were holding on to something which was a fallacy because of your ego. Okay? Because of your fear, because of your low esteem. And this is your complexities that you had suffered in mentally because of your yani low esteem, you still believe the white man is greater than you, even though you're a believer. So you still believe that he can create a better reality than Allah because you are inferior. Okay? It's your mindsets that has poisoned your heart. Okay? To prove to Allah that you are a second-hand vehicle. Okay? You're not good for the long-term expectancy. Okay? You must be honest with yourselves. You don't know me, I don't know you people. I'm speaking the truth because this is making this frequency alive in our children, in our next generation's hearts and feels, biological fields, psychological fields, spiritual fields. Okay? Because the religion that you now follow could not take you into Qiyam, you must by now realize that you have a straight ticket into a hell of an experience. Okay? Accept it or not, yani takfur or tu'min, believe it or not, that's just your and my baby, but everything is only happening in your criteria of what your truth is. Ignorance is not an excuse if you are arrogant. Okay? The arrogance was broken in COVID, and now it will escalate people. Your health, your psychology, your sanity, your so-called belief, whatever you want to term that belief as belief, it's all going to be challenged by the artificial intelligence because you have never created this kind of intelligence, and it will make you feel stupid for whatever you've learned and whatever you've prayed and whatever you've earned. It will make you look like a midget because your children are going to earn billions. It is the age of a new currency that is coming in. Okay, and this currency is going to be open wide because it's just a figure now. It's no longer physical. The spell, the illusion now is to make the children believe that that is real money because the parents fell asleep and led them into that war zone without supervision. So, if I am you, wallahi, if you are, really have still a little bit of oxygen in your blood, wallahi, I will ask my children for maaf before I ask Allah for maaf today. Okay. The mothers, the great mothers will take charge. People, this is the matriarch. You have never lived in the matriarch, but you have you have the truth installed inside of you, and you have the actual DNA because we are all women inside out. Okay, we are women inside out, and the men gets the prostrate, but you don't prostrate to a woman. Okay, that word prostrate made you prostrate to a man and not the universal mother that is the all knowing, because nothing can happen in the planet if it doesn't come through the whole of the mother. Okay? The psychology is on point, people. The physiology is by it's a supporting element. What you need to understand, what we were doing all the time without your knowledge while you were asleep or you were busy in hell, is that we wrote our own narrative. We scripted and we mechanically put together with our intelligence which Allah gave us through the will of the Aba, our ancestors who had most of your grandmothers and great grandmothers has detached from the last civilization. They've detached their roots. You cannot feel them any longer because that was your iqab, that was your punishment, that was your deprivation. But what I can tell you is that the next generation got it. They skipped you guys. They skipped us, in other words. Okay, so you're gonna have to find a God in another country or in another agency or in another culture or in another timeline. But the God that you originate from, where your ancestral is, where your crouchy is, where your roots is, where your nur is supposed to always be illuminating, unfortunately, you have been deprived. Okay, you are not on the same frequency. Your hertz. What is the order now, the amr that comes now in the sama? Look, you only know law, you don't know yani, the actual story, because this is the time in your metamorphosis when you have to tell your mom, you have to tell the great mother your story, and she has recorded everything. You can't hide anything because Allah is the one that is witnessing your testimony. So now if you do your narrative, you have to be precise. Otherwise, يعني والله يحكم بينكم فيما كنتم فيه تختلفون. On the day of Qiyam, when you are standing, then you have to say it according to how Allah has received it. Okay? And how it was revealed in the Quran in the conscious timeline that you are now trembling. Okay? You have to do this in frequencies, people, because the physical doesn't exist in Allah's presence. Time doesn't exist in Allah's presence. So it's only conscious that you are moving now. It's energy that you are moving on. Okay? Here you have no religion, you have to have submission of your of knowledge, self-knowledge, and your mother nature. Okay? You have to then relate and narrate your story. And the heavens with the malaikas. Malaikas is chemistries, people. In this age, in this advanced digitalized era, malaikas are algorithms. Okay, it is chemistries of knowledge that sparks more fusions. Okay, and that's how new paradigms are formed. You as an individual, you cannot go home alone. You have to know where your home is. Where's your Darul Akhirah? Okay? And there you are attracted according to your identity, your self-knowledge, your self-revelation. Okay? That is where, as you came into this earth and you recognize the people that received you because of the security that your mother sustained you in her womb. Similarly, when you are now in this transition that we are currently living in, you are in the womb, people. We are all in the womb. We are in the rahim. Okay? Some of us are let out here, but some of us has to stay in the dark because you are going to get further lost if you are let out. Okay? We cannot be concerned about those who did not pass their exams, people. Let's get this straight here, because you know that there are those who believe and those who don't believe. Now we have parents who don't believe. They are kafirun. They are in denial. Okay, parents is not a matter of your biological. It's about those who were the previous generation, because all parents are one. Okay, every mother is a mother. What we are shifting into order again here after our fathers had taken over our mothers and they had enslaved by contracting the daughters at a price. We have to change the natural phenomena to bring the women and the mothers and the daughters and the sisters back to their back into their natural powers. Okay, this is a feminine planet, people. Understand what I'm telling you guys. All the power is in the feminine here. You can't go without it. Okay, and you cannot suppress it. You caused what you caused because of having suppressed the real nature of this planet where you are living in today. Okay, they used religions, they used cults, they used money, they used Hollywoods, they used all sorts of things in order to keep you occupied. Okay, now that you are sitting with a godless world, okay, and you can see they are telling you in your face what you've been believing and what they've been doing behind you or what you suspected. There's nothing you can do because you are part and parcel of it today. Okay, because you did not want to extract yourself of that lie. Now what's going to come now is the lie of the God. Okay, you will now be told that the gods and the concepts of prophecies has all been reversed in your understanding, because they were never physical, they were always metacognitive transactions. Okay, so you're going to feel as if you were betrayed, but it's not betrayal here. It's just that you have been led astray. Okay, you are from the waladhalin. Ameen. So the rage, the ghadab. Okay, ghadabana asifa, the anxiety and the you see, cancer is part of the disease that lives in you today, and is due to your denial spells and the magical spells that you have lived through, and you did not detect it. Therefore that killed your inner self, it killed your soul. Okay, now that soul is the part, that child, that that war that you wage against that inner child there. Okay, that is the disease that you caused by yourself. Because you remember, you cannot go home if you are not healed. So your body heals itself by putting you directly into agony. Okay, you go into a deep spell, because now when you have cancer, the first thing you think is, hoe Here, jy gaan nou dood, hoe Here, wat gaan gebeur, hoe Here. Hulle hoe Here, wat julle wel nooit gehoor het, wat het gekom het na die signs van Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah takes you individually, guys. Nobody can do you anything. Nobody can help you. Nobody can benefit you. Nobody can harm you. But the soul tribes can see, nee man, die ou kan nie huis toe kom nie. Die goose kan nie huis toe kom nie. Nee. Hulle is they lost their identity. They lost their credentials. They lost their algorithms. They only have a book. They only have a digital ID. Okay, they only have money now. They're bankrupt. They only have pulse. This is Qieyaam. If your mothers and your fathers did not tell you what is Qieyaam, you are in Qieyaam now. But not everybody will wake up in Qieyaam. But we will all serve the same processes. Everybody will go through it. Fardan. Okay. Those who will get it the hardest are those who directly, deliberately misled people to a God that don't exist. And the religion ambit of this planet was hijacked by men who wanted you to believe that they know God better than you, whilst everybody's on the same timeline. Okay, nobody lives a minute before anybody else. Okay, and if God wanted you to make another human greater, He would not have created the world in the first place, because He's made each one equal. Okay, you only needed to understand that the truth is what will set you free on Qiyam. Okay, only by you speaking the truth. By you keeping it in, guys, that's causing your illness. That's why most of you are going to die with sicknesses, because of not speaking the truth. It has to come out, man. Don't hold it in. That's where the whole thing is gone wrong, and that's where the darkness, and that's where the dead blood is being all the time festering in your living cells. Okay, we speak truth. We don't speak in debate. We don't want to see anybody, to hurt anybody. We just need to exercise our self-sovereign rights to bring and to launch this frequency into our tribes, children's lives that is now incoming. Okay, for us, it's not necessary to see us. We don't need to see anybody, because when they hear us, they will feel us, and when they feel us, they will put on the light. When they find the house, the Baytun Nur, they will find us, like you had found people that came before you, like whichever person passed away now. When you every time mention that person's name, if you say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you put on the light, although you did not meet him. That's just the metaphor. It's just how your mind has been programmed to bring the past into the future. Yet you only live in the present, whilst the past don't exist. Now, your children, again, I'm going to close off now. It's still, let me see what's the time now. Okay, still a few more moments. What you need to understand here, guys, is that your children are very humble people, very, very, very modest people, very salih as well. Salih is that they don't want recognition. They don't want your validation. They don't want you to know who they are, because they know already who you are. Understand what I'm speaking to you. They're shy people. They're shy of your shirk. They're shy of your kufr. Okay? Everything happens at the same time in the conscious timeline of Allah. Qiyamah exists, but you are in denial of it. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yani, يوم يعني ويسألونك عن الساعة يعني, and you asked about when you're going to meet your timeline of conscious, when you're going to wake up, in other words. يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says يعني, that he is يعني, he is so يعني, generously trying to hide it from your vision. In other words, it is in the now, but it's just because you cannot embrace the truth, because you did not release it from within. Okay, only the truth will set you free. You need the truth, not another human being's truth now. You are dead until you speak the truth, because the truth brings life. Okay, you are going to go through marda. You're going to be marid, like what you are in the fasting now. Fasting is not what you keep away. Fasting is for you not to accept the truth. What I'm saying today, you can't digest it. It's not for your well-being, because it brings weakness into your field. Okay, although you know it's the truth, you cannot touch it, because you have by yourself made it haram, because you made something else halal. You found another God. You were an idolater in that dimension. Okay? We have to give you the raw story, because we don't know who it is meant for, but we do know that we have to deliver the message. Okay, we don't have to see the face, we just have to know what the number of the post box is. The truth will set you free. If you speak your truth, you will find where the problem was and who misled you, and how come you could not find the Yawm al-Qiyamah when the when the trumpet was blown. Okay? Again, I say, Allah gave Allah gave us all lots of leeway, but now they're pulling in the ropes, guys. This is the time when you have to come home. And if you can't hold on to that rope, you must know where you're going to fall. Okay? And don't be arrogant about it. Don't be arrogant today. You don't have to insult anybody here, because your ignorance will reflect if you open up your mouth. Even those who claim they know, they are only speaking about things that they surmise. In here, but they don't have ilm about it, because AI is going to show them their stupidity, because it can do much better than what a million scholars can do at one time. Okay, in 1 minute. So you got to come out of that and realize that the natural intelligence that was deposited in you is your spiritual strength, your spiritual connection, your spiritual awareness. Okay, that is what the real consciousness of this planet that you are now coming in is all about. And only your mother can feel you, not your father. Okay, so if that mother did not feel you, it means your lights is not on. You are not in the bait, and therefore she cannot feed you. Okay? What you're speaking about, the foster mother this is the time where you have to get this milk. The milk is the milk. M-I-L-K, milk. Malik, milk, mulk is the same word. Just your tongue says, oh, yeah, and you've seen the white milk and not the gold that lives within. Okay? The actual gold of the planet is the mother energy, the matriarch energy, the mitochondria. That's the magic of this planet, okay, that you are in now currently. Okay, you can be in many other planets at the moment. Okay, it's like most of you are living still in the hell planet, where you are still physically entrapped into a reality that doesn't want to discharge you from that prison, because you are contaminated. Remember, you cannot come to where your children are until you are tahirun mutahhir. You must be pure. You must be pure internally and externally. Your children will rebel you. They will rebel you. I know what I'm saying to you. They cannot come close to you, because you are diluting and you are infecting their wild stream. Right. This is all in the Quran, and this is what we are experiencing today. Okay, it's being experienced. We're not speaking out of a story here. This is our narration because we are living it. It's our journey. It will always be told to our great children of the ages. Okay. May Allah accept your barakat, and shukran for your attention and for giving me some of your time. I am grateful, and I ask Allah Ta'ala to grant your great ancestors and the barakat for assisting us, and grant your great grandchildren and the path into the Baytul Nur. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا مصطفى كل شيء لله يا نورا من نور الله يا مصطفى